Good afternoon, everyone.
皆さん、こんにちは。
It is always a great pleasure to be in Tokyo, and this time is no exception. And I'm grateful to the Kanto area transmission meditation groups for having organized this meeting, giving me another opportunity of introducing my story to more people. I'm most pleased, gratified by this enormous audience. If we got such audiences in the West, as we do here in Japan, we would think that the work was well and truly done. I saw that there was an enormous number of people who raised their hands as having come here for the very first time. And it is to these people especially that I would like to address the following few words of introduction, explaining perhaps something a little bit unusual in my expectations of you, the audience. I get the question very frequently from audiences, from letters, by email, usually addressed in the following way. Mr. Krem, your story is very interesting. You say a lot of things which are very different from other people. It is usually addressed in the following words. Why should I believe you? In other words, prove it to me. Prove that what you're saying is true. What I'm saying is in the nature of prophecy, and you cannot prove a prophecy until it happens. My answer is always, I am not trying to prove it to you. I am not asking you to believe me. I am simply telling you what I understand and believe about the happenings of this time. And just by telling it, my work is being done. If I were really concerned whether you believed it or don't believe it, I would be a nervous wreck. Well, I may have jet lag and be old and decrepit, but I'm not yet quite a nervous wreck. What I am trying to do is simply present to you information which has come my way and hoping that you will keep an open mind, not necessarily believing it, but not rejecting it out of hand. And people say, oh, an open mind. I have an open mind, of course. I wonder, in my not too limited experience, I have found a truly open mind rarer than you would expect. Of course, we all imagine we have an open mind. But in reality, most of what we think, most of what we believe is the result of our conditioning from the cradle. Whether we have an open mind, a free mind, or a closed, conditioned mind depends on circumstances, how we're brought up, who were our teachers, what were our parents like, what kind of school did we go to, which country do we belong to. All these things condition our thinking and experience and determine whether we think for ourselves, whether we are really free or live in a conditioned circumstance. Of course, doing what I'm doing for over 30 years, I believe that what I'm saying is true. I believe we're living in a time in which the happenings are the most far-reaching, the most convulsive, the most changing of our world than anything you can possibly imagine. And change that is for the better for humanity. That the pain, the suffering, the stress, the tensions, the hideous happenings of the present in wars and cyclones and so on are passing, they're transitory, and are simply the birth pangs of a new civilization, which it is our privilege and our responsibility to make, to build. Whether you believe what I say is true or not, if you go home this evening with a renewed hope for yourself, for your future, for your children, and for their future, then I shall be perfectly satisfied. As humanity will very soon come to understand, we are going through an extraordinary period of change on planet Earth, a time of change. In fact, I believe that we are in a period in which three, not less than three, great, momentous happenings are taking place at the same time. Hence the necessity, the inevitability of change. We call it the age of Aquarius. Now, this is not some kind of nice fantasy thought up by so-called New Age groups, but it is a hard, scientific, astronomical fact which you can prove to yourself by a visit to any observatory. Now, this is not some kind of nice fantasy thought up by so-called New Age groups, but it is a hard, scientific, astronomical fact which you can prove to yourself by a visit to any observatory.